Hey, and welcome by this video about Topaz ReStyle. Now, it's no secret that color is very important. We all know that color evokes emotion, right? So when you shoot with digital, one of the problems that I find, and I'm a huge fan of analog film, is that all the pictures come out pretty perfect. Color is perfect, the sharpness is perfect, everything is cool. I want my images to have a little bit of atmosphere, a little bit of mood, a little bit of old-fashioned film style. Now, there are many plugins out there like Alien Skin Exposure, DxO Film Pack that do a great job in emulating film. And I love them, I use them almost on all my work. Now, Topaz mailed me, Frank, we have a new filter, it's called ReStyle. And it's doing stuff with tinting that you've never seen before. Now, I have to be totally honest. The first time I saw the plugin, I was going like, no, this is not for me. This is not the way I want to work. And it just didn't look right. Then I started playing with the plugin, and I have to be honest that at the moment, I totally love it. It's not a canned profile per se, like you have with Alien Skin Exposure. You have a certain film stock like Reala or Portrait, and you will run that and it will look like the old film. This is something completely new, and I think it's very interesting to play with this. And I have to be honest, I'm using it a lot nowadays, just simple because you can do so much with it. So without further ado, let's look at the filter. And again, in this video I won't show you the whole run through of the filter. I will very quickly give you some tips on how I use it. You can always download a 30-day trial and you can try it out for yourself. So let's go to filter. And of course the first thing we have to do is make a duplicate layer. Go to filter, Topaz Labs, and go to ReStyle. And ReStyle already says it a little bit. We're going to change the style of the image. And this is an image straight out of the camera, by the way. I didn't do any retouching on it yet. So it's just for the color. Okay, so here we go. Now, normally when you have all these pre-canned profiles, you will see like film stock this, film stock that. Well, Topaz did something else, N304, and I have to be honest, I don't know what N304 is, I don't know what N284 is. It sounds like something from Star Trek, but species N284, planet N303, I don't know. What I do know is that when you go over it, it looks terrible. And this is where I actually gave up on the filter. I was going like, no, well, maybe 301 looks nice, but then you went over it again and it just didn't work. However, later on I started playing with it, and now look at this. And I love the more vintage looks. And now let's go, for example, to, this is one of my favorites for this, the Mantis Green with Pop Pink. I was going like, yeah, sure. And I looked at it and was going like, probably what you guys now looking like, yeah, go on to the next filter. However, if you start playing with this, and now it gets really interesting, you can be so incredibly versatile. Now, first let's start by lowering the opacity to, let's say, 53%, 54, around there. Already looks a little bit better. Now we change the tint, a little bit more magenta in there, and pull down the saturation. Add a little bit of midtones, for example. And now we have something completely different from the original file without looking too funky. And this is actually something that I do really like. And of course you can play a little bit with your black levels to make it a little bit more contrasty. Maybe add a little bit more saturation, just to your liking. And there you go. And it just gives your image a totally different look. And you can do this with all your plugins, with all your presets. You can change them around, make your own personal favorite looks. And this is something from ReStyle I find really interesting. And at the moment I'm testing it on a lot of my shots. And I will just go for a standard preset, something I think, well, maybe this looks nice. And then you see it coming up and you go like, whoa. Now you change the opacity again to, let's say, 50%. This is also my starting point most of the time. Then I just start playing, and most of the time I will start playing with the tint, saturation, and a black level for contrast. There we go. You can even change some of the colors around. And you see the original and the look. And of course, if you have something that you really like, you can store it in your own personal collection. So ReStyle, make sure to check it out because I think it can be really interesting if you want to tint your images and you don't want to use the standard film stacks that you find in, let's say, Alien Skin Exposure or a DxO film pack. It's 100% different, and it's indeed something that up until now I find very, very powerful. So follow the link for Topaz ReStyle. We have an affiliate code in here, and if you follow that link and you use the code that you see online, you get a nice 15% discount. I think ReStyle, especially when you're into tinting your images, make sure to check it out. It's incredibly interesting what you can do with it. And just start playing with it.